So, there goes Elijah, whoosh, straight into heaven on a fiery chariot. No warning, no farewell speech, just gone. And Elisha? He's standing there holding his mentor's cloak like, well, guess that makes me the prophet now. Before he can even process this massive promotion, he walks up to the Jordan River and smacks it with Elijah's mantle. Nothing happens. He smacks it again. Still, nothing. So finally, he shouts, "Where is the Lord God of Elijah?" And boom, the waters split like they've been waiting for a dramatic entrance. And just like that, Elisha crosses over, stepping into his destiny. Elisha barely has time to enjoy his new role before some local kids decide to test his patience. He's walking toward Bethel when a gang of young troublemakers start shouting, "Go up, Baldy! Go up, Baldy!" A not-so-subtle reference to Elijah's recent departure and, well, Elisha's shiny scalp. Now, Elisha could have ignored them, maybe even come up with a witty comeback, but no. He calls down a divine, "Oh, you wanna play?" moment, and out of nowhere, two enormous bears charge out of the woods. Let's just say that those kids won't be mocking prophets anymore. Word spreads quickly that Elisha is the real deal, and soon enough, a desperate widow comes knocking. She's drowning in debt, and creditors are about to take her 2 sons as payment. Elisha, cool as ever, simply says, "Go collect every jar you can find." No explanation, no context. Just jars. She does it. Then he tells her to pour the tiny bit of oil she has left into the jars. And wouldn't you know it? The oil just keeps flowing, filling every single one until there's no more room. She sells the oil, clears her debt, and keeps her sons. Crisis averted thanks to divine economics. Elisha has a soft spot for this wealthy Shunammite woman and her family, who had built him a guest room just to honor him. When her son suddenly dies, she immediately rushes to Elisha. Elisha heads straight to the boy's room, shuts the door, and gets to work. He stretches himself over the child, mouth to mouth, eye to eye, hand to hand, almost like divine CPR. Then the boy sneezes. Once, twice, 7 times. And just like that, he opens his eyes, very much alive. Cue the emotional family reunion. Imagine a group of prophets trying to cook. It doesn't go well. They gather random herbs, throw them into a stew, and only after a few bites does someone say, this might be poison. Cue panic. But Elisha? He just walks up, casually throws some flour into the pot and says, "All right, now serve it." The prophets, hesitant but obedient, take a bite. Miraculously, the poison is gone. The moral? Sometimes all you need is faith and better culinary skills. Elisha is chilling when someone brings him 20 barley loaves and some fresh grain. Not a bad gift, right? Except there are 100 hungry men staring at him like he's holding a 5-course meal. His servant does the math and says, this isn't enough. But Elisha? He just smiles and says, "Go ahead and serve it. There'll be leftovers." And sure enough, as they start passing out the food, it miraculously multiplies. Everyone eats until they're stuffed, and, just like Elisha said, there are leftovers. Sound familiar? Jesus would later perform a similar miracle. One morning, Elisha's servant wakes up, looks outside, and sees an entire enemy army surrounding them. Mass panic mode activated. He runs to Elisha screaming, "We're doomed!" Elisha just yawns, stretches, and says, "Relax, there's more on our side than theirs." Then he prays, and suddenly, his servant sees what Elisha sees, heavenly chariots of fire surrounding them. But Elisha doesn't stop there. He prays again, and bam, the enemy army is blinded. Then, in a move of pure swagger, he leads them straight into the hands of the Israelites. When their sight is restored, they realize they've been completely outmaneuvered. And guess what? Instead of killing them, Elisha orders a feast for them. That's some next-level peacemaking. And that, my friends, is the story of Elisha, a prophet who turned water into dry ground, food into feasts, death into life, and enemies into dinner guests. He proved that faith isn't just about dramatic miracles. It's also about trust, obedience, and knowing that sometimes the most powerful move is the simplest one. So, next time you face a problem, ask yourself, what would Elisha do? Chances are, he'd just trust God and maybe throw something into the river.